let's talk. I know you said I know you're a stats nerd, and you wanted to break out some of Rodgers' stats. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and get this conversation going. But I mean, I think we do have to talk about how Aaron Rodgers absolutely locked up the MVP award this Sunday.
Yeah. Rodgers, the way that he plays, we definitely take advantage of it. We definitely take it for granted.
Yeah.
He is the most talented passer we have ever seen. My generation, generation before, all these most talented. Like, he's not the most winningest, obviously. That is Tom Brady. You can call him a
Yes.
GOAT. That's fine. But Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback we have ever seen. And if anyone tries to argue with that, then they're wrong. It's
Wrong.
just how it is. um, Aaron Rodgers only had 2 games this season where his passer rating was under 107. And mind you, they
Wow.
say 90 to 95 is like high quality.
Right.
That's a good average passer rating. He had 2 games under 107, and one of those games was the Bucks.
Right.
But another game was Carolina. It was still a 92.
Wow. Even his below average is still a very high quality game
Yep.
for every other quarterback in the league. Yeah.
Yep. So his stats for the season, he had 4,299 pass yards, with ranked 7th overall. He had a 70.7 completion percentage. That was first.
70.7.
He had a 51 total touchdown to 5 interception ratio. That's first. He had a 121.5 quarterback rating. That's first. He had an 84.4 QBR. That is first. He had a 94.5 PFF grade. That's first overall, not just with quarterbacks,
Just
but overall rating players. It's first.
he was the highest graded player by PFF this year.
And then
Wow.
he had a .365 EPA per play, which was first. So every single stat except for one, he placed first.
And that's yards.
Yes.
So
And it's like, yeah, you want yards, but you got to score touchdowns. You got to get the points. And
Yeah.
that's literally what he did. He was first in that.
and I don't know if you saw this little interesting nugget, but the Packers, only for the second time in their franchise history, dating back to the I think maybe only for the third time in the history of the NFL, had a quarterback with more touchdowns than punts on the season.
Oh, I saw
J.K.
that.
Scott had 46 punts on the year. Aaron Rodgers had 48 touchdown passes. That lets you know how lethal and just how efficient and just how great Aaron Rodgers was playing this year. And this offense on a whole. And Cthulhu 414 says if they don't give Rodgers the MVP, the system is fixed. And I agree, man. And I was listening to some of the talking heads this morning, and he was saying like if they don't, it should be Mahomes because Rodgers is like Mahomes, but just the worse version. And then he says if they don't give it to Mahomes, they should give it to Derrick Henry because he's more valuable than Rodgers. And I'm just like, bro, like why are you such a hater? If to me, Mahomes is third because I mean I feel like Derrick Henry definitely deserves some real conversation here. You know what I mean? I still think Rodgers should get it. I think what Rodgers was able to do with, especially when you look at all the injury he's had on the offensive line, when you look at the fact that they only have really one go-to option, and that is Davante Adams. His legitimate two go-to option was missed about 2 months with a core muscle injury, and Adams missed a few games, and he still. I mean, I still think it's understated that he's going into the second year of an offense with a second-year head coach calling plays for the second year. Like, there's just a lot of, and then he did have to deal with. I mean, there was a lot of just noise that he had to tune out this year. And I don't know if we'll ever get the full story or if he'll ever give us the truth, or if Jordan Love coming in actually was able to, light a little bit of a fire under him. It's no secret that Rodgers' production had dipped the past, 3-4 seasons, really. The past 3 seasons, his production had dipped.
Yeah.
It wasn't bottom of the barrel. He was still sort of a 15, top 10 kind of a guy statistically. Talent-wise, we know he was still number 1. But his statistics were in the middle. There were a handful of people that were better than him. And honestly, if it wasn't for Alex Smith stepping back on the field this year and playing and leading that Washington football team back to the playoffs, I would say Rodgers would also be eligible for comeback player of the year. I don't know what it is, but something happened this year, and it was just really spectacular, and it's definitely going to go down as one of the most special years that I've ever seen as a Packers fan. And I definitely think he deserves to be MVP. And not only that, I think Davante Adams should be Offensive Player of the Year.
I definitely think he should be in that conversation. We all know that he's not going to win. We all know that Derrick Henry is going to win. He should definitely be in that. I mean, he leads the league in touchdowns. He broke the Packers record for catches.
Yeah. Receptions. Yes. Receptions. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He missed 2.5 games, and he's still top 5 in yards. I mean, this man is one of the greatest receivers the Packers have ever had. He's the best receiver in the NFL right now. He definitely deserves a nod at it, and I think he should get some votes. We know Derrick Henry's going to win, but Davante Adams needs to get some votes. He needs to get some of that recognition.
Yeah.
People still aren't going to say that he's the best receiver.
I know. That's so...
He's top 5 in yards. He leads the league in touchdowns. He led the league. The season's over. He is number 1 in touchdowns. Yeah,
exactly. And he had 1,374 yards, 115 receptions, 18 TDs, and this is the one thing I want to say. Derrick Henry, yes, I mean 2,000 yards in the season, but he's like the 6th or 7th person in the history of the NFL to rush for 2,000 yards. Davante Adams is only the 3rd receiver in the history of the NFL to put up these kinds of numbers, to have over 100 receptions, over 1,200 yards receiving, and 18 touchdowns or more. The other 2 guys are both in the Hall of Fame. Randy Moss and Jerry Rice are the only 2 other people. And those 2 people, for my money, are the 2 best receivers to ever do it. So when you put yourself in the conversation with the 2 greatest receivers to ever do it, and you say that I've also broken franchise records for one of the oldest teams in the history of the game, and Don Hudson's record, you break Don Hudson's record, and you tie Sterling Sharp. I mean, it's very, and then in 13 and a half games. I mean, this dude was.
Can you imagine if he played all 16 games? Like, even if he took up the second half, like people get injured and they missed a little bit. So even if he just missed half that game, can you imagine he would have more? He would probably have 21 touchdowns and 1,600 yards and like 140 receptions or something like that.
And you can't.
It's literally insane. This guy puts up stats like no other. The fact people don't recognize that he missed 2.5 games. They're like, oh, look at his stats. It's great. It's like no one else in the top 5 of any of those stats missed games.
Yes, exactly. And really, I mean, he's also, I mean, how many of those other guys are really like the focus of the defense to shut him down? You know, it's like you can't.
The only person I can think of, and he's not even a wide receiver, and that would be Kelsey. That's it.
But even still, if you really focus on Kelsey that much, then you're gonna just get burnt by Tyreek Hill. The dude almost had 300 yards receiving in a half. You know what I'm saying? And then don't forget, by the way, every other receiver on their team could be an Olympic sprinter. So it's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude, what he was able to do in 13 and a half games is nothing short of remarkable. And I really hope that, I mean, yeah, it would be incredible if he got it. Like you said, I mean, I feel like a 99.9% chance that Derrick Henry gets the award, because I think Rodgers is going to get the MVP, and Henry definitely deserves to be acknowledged himself. But I mean, I don't know, man. Then we got to figure out some kind of way other than All Pro, because that's like a foregone conclusion. There needs to be some other way to like enshrine his performance on this year and what he was able to do in 2020, because it's like it's really incredible. Yeah, he would have had a shot at the receptions record. He would have had a shot at the touchdown record as well if he didn't miss those 2 games. So
Puda, you the GOAT, boy.